everyone. Thanks for listening, watching, tuning in to this another COVID episode of Grad Life. I'm Monica. I'm one of your hosts today. We also have Gavin.
Hello.
We have Nicole.
Hi.
We have Vicky.
Hello.
And we have Greg.
Hey.
So we have a few more people talking today, but we're all just going to talk about our experiences throughout this pandemic and how things have been going. I think the last time we recorded an episode, it was towards mid-March-ish, I believe, somewhere in the 20s, and today is now March 62nd. So we've been in this for a little while, but we figured we would talk about how we're feeling now as opposed to how we were at the beginning. So at the beginning, Gavin, Vicky, and I kind of quickly spoke about our experiences, how we were feeling, how our research was going, how we were feeling mentally. So maybe Vicky and Gavin first, do you want to give an update? Have things changed since the last time we were recording, or how are you feeling?
In terms of have things changed, I'd like to think that I'm in more of a routine. I remember the last episode that we recorded, I was sort of lost, as everyone, I guess, was at that time. But now I feel like I have more of a routine going. I'm not that hard on myself now in terms of productivity. I try to do as much as I can. But I think I've gotten a little bit easier on myself. I don't know about you, Gavin.
I've definitely gotten into more of a work routine, although
That's
my
good.
fitness routine's kind of been thrown out the window right now.
Oh,
Only because the weather.
everybody's?
Well, only because the weather in April was pretty crap, and it was a combination of I've lost my black running shorts, and I don't know where they've gone, and my running exercise gloves broke, so I had to order new ones. Then I had to order new shadow boxing gloves, so it's like waiting for all that to get here, and I can actually do something again.
Kevin, do you only have one pair of running shorts?
At least with me, yes. Only with.
Okay.
But I have like
Fair enough.
sports. I have like underlying. What's it called? Sports underalls. I can't remember what they call them. But if I just have them, it looks.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
undershorts, like the tight ones?
Yeah, I wear those,
Okay.
and then I put my shorts on top of them. But
Okay.
I can't just run in those. It looks really, really, really weird. But
That's really weird.
yeah.
In terms of
Or
weather,
you're
though,
to get some attention.
in terms of weather, though, it has been crazy. Like, I was talking to a friend, and I was saying that we should honestly just, like, scratch April, pretend it never happened, and start April 1st again, like, today, because it's May 1st now, and, like, just go on, because then it'll actually, like, align all the seasons properly again, and, like, maybe we'll have, like, snow on Christmas, but, like, it's just this crazy weather. Like, now it's finally starting to feel like April.
Finally.
Wow. That's why I keep saying like every day is March something, because I just feel like ever since we entered into this pandemic, it's just been one long March. Like I refuse to believe that
Yeah.
today is May 1st already. It's like, it's too much.
Yeah. Oh,
So
man.
I've also heard, Gavin, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen articles that people aren't very happy with runners right now either in terms of like running outside, because there's been some issues in terms of maintaining distance also.
I've not seen the articles itself. I know I read one article about saying that if you're going for walks and runs, 6 feet is not the optimal distance you want to do if you're standing still. Apparently, if you're walking, you want to be at least 10 meters away from anyone down. If you're downwind from someone, you want to be at least 10 meters away from them so that if they do sneeze or cough, the particles don't get blown into you. If you're running, apparently it's double that.
I guess because you have more momentum, right? You're projectiling the particles further when you're running, right?
Yeah.
Velocity, acceleration.
Yeah. All the other
but
math.
I think the only thing I know that people are getting mad at is that they go to main park. I don't go running in parks because I know that's where people are going. I run in either streets or back roads. I know where I can easily avoid people.
Mhm.
And also like some people run in groups. I mean, it's okay if you live together because you're exposed. It doesn't really matter. But if you're like telling your friend like, oh, let's go for a pair or a group run, that's I can see it's a bit of an issue because you're not really supposed to be that close to each other. They'll argue like, well, we're running very fast, so we're not really touching or breathing on each other. It's like, yeah, but as soon as you sneeze, those particles just get spread everywhere.
Mhm.
So everyone near you is instantly been exposed to it.
Or as Trudeau likes to say, breathing moistly. I know
Ugh.
that when I'm outside.
Yeah, moistly. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's very funny. That week, there was that week, the Canadian news was struggling to find something like really big to talk about because America was just a shitstorm.
Off the rails, yeah, for sure.
So it's like, oh god, our guy's not messing up. It's like he said moistly, get him. This is our chance.
But like, who says that? Like, speaking moistly.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because maybe he was thinking in French, you know, bilingual. Maybe it made sense in the French, but just English
I think he
did not.
instantly regretted it when he said
100%. Yeah, you could just tell on his face, and just it's a terrible picture.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I guess an update in terms of me really quickly. I'm still at my parents' house, so that's been fun. What else? In terms of work, I'm still chugging along as if nothing has happened. None of my work still hasn't been canceled or moved forward. If anything, I actually have additional work to do now because one of the projects I'm on is trying to bring or do some COVID-related research. So now I'm doing additional work. So I'm constantly working. I'm constantly tired, constantly beating myself up for not doing as much work as I want to be doing. And I'm tired all the time. It's phenomenal.
Business as usual.
Yeah, I had a busy late April. I had to get 2 presentations this week, actually, I had to give, and I had to submit the first draft of my chapter 3 thesis. And now I'm currently getting chapter 2 draft finished off, and I have to get revisions written and completed by the 22nd of May at the latest for a journal that's going to get published hopefully this summer.
Nice. Do you feel excited at all?
I'm excited, but I'm also nervous because this is the year I was supposed to be networking and looking for jobs. So I have to do that all virtually now. That was actually one of the presentations. It was like a 5-minute lightning talk, though I pretty much wasn't a science presentation. It was like, let me tell you what my research is and let me sell the skills that I've picked up for the past 4 years. Give me a job, please.
That's exciting, though.
I've also been looking for like PhD supervisors, and it's so difficult just to find anyone that's like even going to consider taking you on because like nobody knows when it's going to finish, right?
Yeah.
Are you having difficulty with that, Greg? Here, let's transition over to Greg and Nick, and let's talk about what their experiences have been like throughout this. So, Greg, if you want to go first, go for it.
Sure. Yeah. So, fortunately, before COVID-19 happened, I found somebody that I was interested in going to his lab, and I'm probably now going to go to his lab. It seems like the best option. But at the time around when all the closures started, I was also, this guy said he would take me on, but I also wanted to look elsewhere and see if there was any other options. And pretty much I could talk to people. A lot of people would respond to my emails because they had the time, but it's like nobody had the money. Nobody knew when I could start. Nobody wanted to take somebody new until like, they didn't even want to talk about it until like COVID-19 ended. And so that was kind of like a tough thing to do. But then the more research I did, the more I realized I just wanted to go to this one guy's lab. So I'm probably going to be doing that in January.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Nice. Where is it?
It's at the University of Lethbridge, which is in Alberta. So it's not really a big university, but it's like the supervisor there is huge in the field. He does a lot of like cannabis research. That's what I'd be doing. And then I'm going to be doing exactly what I wanted to do for my PhD. So it's pretty sweet.
Oh my God, so you're fully moving provinces.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, best part is my motorcycle insurance goes from like $1,600 a year to like $75 a year.
Yeah. What?
Perks.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was like my best part about it. I just found this out recently. I was just like, this is a joke. And they're like, no, it's not a joke. I'm like, okay.
That's the selling factor.
Right?
That was the selling factor. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, are you excited then? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's like still have to plan for everything. Yeah. So
how do you think planning's gonna affect like when you go and how you go with like COVID and what's happening right now?
Yeah, well, I have to stay an extra semester to get everything done for my master's, right? Which kind of sucks. But hope like it's gonna end at some point, right? And then as soon as that ends, that's really when I'm gonna start planning on moving. But I've been quiet about like insurance and whatnot, where to live, and started talking to people in the lab. But
yeah. Okay. Cool. Nicole, how has your research been trudging along?
Oh my. So I don't know if you guys knew, but I was actually in Washington, D.C. in the States for the last, it was supposed to be 4 months. So I haven't been around very much. So you might have not heard my voice, but I'm back now because I got an email from both the government and all my supervisors as soon as COVID started saying return to Canada immediately. And at the time, I had been kind of traveling around the States a lot. So I was in Florida, I was in Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York. I was like all over the place. So I was like, oh, great, I am 100% infected and I have to go home. But what they did was actually they locked up my lab immediately in Washington, D.C. at Georgetown. And there was like security all around it, so I couldn't even go inside and like grab a sweater or anything. And like I had cultures growing in there, and all this money I put into this research, because I was working really hard for a grant before I even went, and I got this grant, and now all this money is just wasted because I lost all this rent money, all this research money, all this like traveling back and forth money, and like all of my bacteria are just kind of gone. I tried to freeze some of them in glycerol, but I don't know if that's really going to matter much if I'm not even able to go back there anytime soon. But that's definitely been affecting my research. I don't know if I'll be able to finish on time now. If they open up the labs before August, then maybe my supervisor said she'll try to finish what she can for me and send me results. But I don't know. So we'll see. I was supposed to graduate in August, but now it might be an extra semester like Greg.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
It's been frustrating, but I've just been writing. There's not much I can do other than that now, so I've just been trying to finish my papers, and yeah, living with my parents as well. My mom just got a new puppy. We adopted a puppy during the whole pandemic, so that's kind of fun, been keeping me busy, but that's been my life.
Nick, if like in our department, a lot of people can still graduate even if they don't really like. They're going to go easier on them for their master's thesis. So like you don't really have to have all the data they would expect. But
so the thing,
I'm not sure that's
but what I'm most worried about is that so the work I've done so far has been mostly the geology aspect of my research, but the stuff that I was doing in Washington, that was like all the biology stuff, which is what I'm most interested in, what I really want to focus in if I do a PhD or something like that. So if I do apply for a PhD and I only have the geology stuff and my master's thesis, that's not really going to help me get the best PhD position. So like I really want to get this bio stuff published so that I at least have that under my belt.
Yeah.
Can you go in saying you have the experience though? Is that like not enough?
I mean, a lot of time they like to see publications.
Do you think that'll be different though with, what we're going through right now? I feel like there has to be some sort of leniency in terms of that, like what Greg was saying before, like even leniency with your master's. I would assume there would be the same sort of leniency with getting a PhD position, unless everyone's just cutthroat.
I'm sure they would understand, but it's like if the supervisor has two students, one person knows how to do something really well for their lab, the other doesn't. They're going to go with the other guy, right? The one that knows.
It's fair.
Right?
That's fair.
Yeah, but hopefully, like people are understanding.
Are you stuck in that too, Greg, right now?
So like interestingly, I had to go in like every single day during COVID until like 2 weeks ago because I was essential services and I had an ongoing project that just could not stop until like 2 weeks ago. And so we finished that, and so literally it was 2 weeks ago I stopped going in. But so I've gotten that data. I have to get more data if I want to publish all of the papers I wanted to publish. So right now I have 3 papers in the work for my master's, and I could, in theory, like I don't actually have to stay an extra semester, but then I wouldn't have 3 papers. I would have maybe 2. And it's like, I want to get 3. So I'll just stay the extra semester.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, like I just wouldn't have the data to publish 3. So it's like maybe 2, but yeah.
But you really want that 3.
Yeah, like I really want the 3. The thing is, like I put in so much work into like it's really like 2 different projects, and I put so much work into both. It's like I don't want to just abandon the 2 different projects. Like one of them is like far enough along that I could have 2 papers from, and then the other it's 1 paper. But it's like I've been working on all of them, so it's like if I just finish early, all of them are going to have a little less data, and so it's like it would just be weird. I just don't want to give up on it. I just want to keep going.
I like the motivation. I truly do.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, what was it like going to campus when everything was shut down and like nobody was there? What was that experience like?
Surprisingly, it was awesome. I would get in my car and I would drive to campus, and it would take me not even like 15 minutes. Normally it takes me like 20 to 30 minutes to get to campus, but nobody was on the road. Nobody was there. So it literally just, I'd be so quick to get there, and I could park right outside of my lab for free because the gates were up. I could walk in, and it's like once I go in the building, it's literally like right in front. Like my lab is right in front of the front door. So like it wasn't like I could literally just walk in, do my work. Nobody would bother me. Wouldn't even see anybody, and then just leave. And so it was like I didn't even like see people. So it was pretty funny. But I honestly I kind of enjoyed it just because nobody else was there.
It does
By
sound
myself.
kind of ideal, to be honest. Like, I
Yeah.
wish I had that same commute like when I was still going in. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously,
thing
not in
is-
the circumstances, but
Yeah. The only thing is like I wasn't there for very long. I just had to do a
Mhm.
few things, but I had to do that every single day, including the weekends, for like
Yeah.
5 months.
wow. Oh, wow.
Fun times. Fun times. Yeah.
So-
Honestly, I kind of wish I could get access to the lab, but at the same time, kind of happy that I don't. Kind of makes me stay at home and I don't know, do things that I can't really do if I'm in the lab.
Do you think if you all had access to your labs, you would be going in like every day?
Nope.
I still have access to my lab. Going in.
I would want to go in. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I can remotely access my lab computer from here. So, but so it actually stops me having to download a bunch of programs. So I just have to, as long as the internet connection's good, which luckily, since no one's on campus, it's great. I can just do anything from there. So I have to get
Nice.
used to uploading things to the drive and then downloading them on this computer, but you got to work with what you have.
I did take for granted how much I actually do when I go into work and, the stuff like experiments wise and that sort of thing. And now I'm feeling sort of useless when I'm just writing, and I just want to go back and, get the last few things done just to progress what I've been writing, because I feel like I'm writing the same thing over and over because I've been working on data that I've had for years, right? So I just want something new. So I would love to get the opportunity to go back for sure.
I've
the
got
point-
the opposite feel though. I'm actually so glad I don't have to go in and worry about other things other than my work. I don't have to worry about teaching now because semester's over.
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about any of these extra lab stuff, which are no longer essential for me to do, so I don't even have to think about them. I don't have to worry about library books because I got an email saying they've all been extended to pretty much the new year.
Mhm.
And I don't have to worry about like any last minute talks that come up during the day, and I have to debate whether or not I should go to it. So I actually find this a blessing in disguise.
So I feel the same way as well, but then anxiety started eating at me, and I'm like, will I graduate on time? I don't even know. So that's all up in the air, and it all depends on how fast I do these experiments. So if I just could get them done, then I would have a better gauge of when I would finish. So it's more so those thoughts that are creeping in, but I do like the fact that no one is forcing me to do anything, and there's not that expectation that I should be producing more work. But then again, my head's like, but there should be a way to do it. So it's I'm a little bit torn between the two, but I totally get your point, Gavin.
Question for everybody. Sorry, go ahead, Greg, and then I will ask the question.
No, it's okay. You can take it.
Okay. I was going to ask, were any of you TAing this semester, and how did that go when COVID struck?
My course was sorry, Vicky, you go first.
Oh, no, you can go.
Well, my course was online anyway, so it actually had no change whatsoever. The only thing I'm slightly annoyed with is the emails I get from students asking me why is their grade so low. Wait, I say low, an 80 apparently is not enough. So
that's normal in my field for sure. But with my TAing as well, I didn't see a difference. I mostly take over the marking side, and that was mostly done online anyways before COVID. So there wasn't much of a change except for the fact that there were no tutorials and I didn't have to show up to give a lecture or anything like that. So if anything, it was a little bit less work, but more focus on, like Gavin said, student emails and just marking and that sort of thing.
Yes, I TA course as well, and mine's in a lab. And so I think we missed like the last 2 or 3 like labs, and that was it. But it wasn't a big deal. Honestly, we were almost done. So they had already handed in the majority of their assignments. We'd already done the majority of the stuff. So it was like just marking them. So it wasn't even a big deal. Yeah. And they switched online, right? So like they were
Yeah.
still doing a fair amount of stuff online, but like I didn't actually have to be there for the online section. So
Right.
kinda nice
And then
that way.
Nick, were you TAing or no? Because you were in Washington.
No, so I got all my TAing done before I left, so I had to kind of I had to rush all my TA shifts and like get all 4 before I even left. So now I'm all clear, but kind of wish I was TAing in a way. I feel like I'd have another thing to do because I need to always have like things on my agenda, and I'm like that type of person where it's like I need to have like meeting, workout, like work on my essay or my like paper. Like I need to have it all like written out. And now that I'm like, well, I guess I have one thing to do today and it's work on my thesis. So I like get up and I'm just like all day long and like I need something else to do. So I kind of wish I was TAing.
Plus, like, work on my thesis is such like a huge task. So it's like you never feel like you're actually getting anything done when your goal is work on my thesis because it doesn't matter how much you do, the thesis isn't done.
Yeah.
So that's hard.
I like to break it up into like smaller sections, being like, all right, I'll work on this part of my thesis today, or this part
Actually,
next week, right?
well, I got this really cool planner that, well, I say I got it. If it wasn't for my girlfriend, I wouldn't have got it because she's an essential worker. And what's the company? Passion Planner. We're giving these away for free, +1 to anyone who's an essential worker, so they can keep track of schedules. I guess if you're a nurse working 12 to 14 hours right now, it's probably very handy. But they separate them into days and times. You get to write your personal to-do list, your work to-do list. At the end of each month, you reflect on what went well and what went wrong with your schedule, and then you adapt the next month. And then you can break your goals down to what needs to be done daily, what needs to be done weekly, what needs to be done monthly. What is my 3-month goal? What's my yearly goal? What's my lifetime goal? And what's my where should I be in 3 years time? I can't remember what I wrote. Something very
That sounds overwhelming. I feel overwhelmed hearing that.
I got excited about it, but that's just me. I'm a little bit weird like that.
Can you show us it on the screen? Like it
go.
doesn't have to be like a personal page or anything, but if you want to show
I don't
a
mind
blank
the
one.
personal page. It's
I feel like we all have to like look closer at our screens.
Yeah. Well, I can read, and it tells you to highlight your priority in each one of those. So it's like my priority for 3 months is submit 2 papers for publications. My year 1 is graduate from Weston.
Finally leave.
Isn't that all of us?
Get out.
3 years is build credibility as an early career scientist. And my lifetime goal is to speak multiple languages.
Ooh.
So I keep
Have you been working on that one?
realistic with it.
Yeah, good question, Greg. Have you been working on that one, Gavin?
I've been trying. Well, I downloaded Duolingo to refresh on French again, but then for the past 3 weeks, my phone's kind of been bugging out. So if anyone follows me on Instagram, I just uploaded a video saying that this phone just would not work. So anytime I tried to start an app, it would just freeze and then crash. So now I have a new phone. It's my first iPhone.
Ooh.
I still don't know how to feel about it because I've been an Android and PC user since I was born. And I've always gone against Mac because I always felt it seems to be a lot of money for something you could get for about 1/10 of the price. But
what do you think now in comparison?
I annoyingly like it.
He's transitioned.
Give it time. It's only been a day.
He's been converted.
It's only been a day. I'll find something to complain about it.
Well, I just remember using Duolingo a couple years ago, and I remember thinking, after a while when schedules got busier and things, like that owl harasses you.
Oh yeah, I just tell him to go away.
Like, I don't know, man. That owl, I feel like one day will like come to your house and just like beat you up if you're not spending time learning your new language.
But to answer your previous question, I want to pretty much the few languages I want to learn is definitely French. I actually want to learn German. And I kind of have to learn Italian because my family would never forgive me if I didn't try. And I kind of wanted to learn Portuguese, but now I don't know anymore.
What made you make that decision? That sounds very harsh for the Portuguese language. And
it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's Spanish is simple, but then suddenly you go to Portuguese and it's like something completely
Well,
different.
that's the thing, right? Because Spanish, French, and Italian all sound relatively similar because they're
Mhm.
Romance languages, right?
Mhm.
So if you have a grasp on one, it might be, I'm not saying it's easy to learn the other one, but it might be a little bit easier to get a grasp
Yeah.
of the next one.
Well,
Mhm.
apparently there's a ladder. They say if you want to learn a bunch of languages, you should start in a certain order. And it says your first 2 languages you should learn is either French or Spanish. Start
Okay.
with those, then go up to Italian, and I think then you can go to Italian and do one of the others. If you want to learn German, that is different. But if you learn German, it's easier to learn other Germanic-based languages.
Hmm.
And then if you go further east, and you think if you learn
Probably like Russian or something, then you know
Yeah.
all the like
Mhm.
like those type of languages, like Polish, Ukrainian, like everything.
Yeah.
Nick, you know a few languages.
Yeah, I speak Russian, Hebrew, English, partially French, and partially Spanish.
Oh my God.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
You said,
That's
Well, I
good.
mean, I was born in Israel. My parents came from Russia, so I speak Russian at home. And then I took Spanish for a long time in high school and middle school, and then French just basically from being in Canada and having to take it in high school.
Oh my
Wow.
That's
God.
impressive.
Okay.
I know English.
It was an hard
Same.
one.
A little bit of French.
I think I'm the same as Greg. I know a bit of French. I think I took French until like grade 10 or something like that in high school. So I have a decent grasp of French. I'll put it this way. I went to France a couple of years ago with my family. We were in Paris and I got mistaken for a Parisian like multiple times. Like locals would speak to me in French. So I'd like to think that I can
that's a
keep
good
up
sign.
relatively well. It's also because I have like blonde hair and I'm white.
Yeah, so like was that before or after you started speaking French?
Yeah, afterwards I'd have to be like, oh, je suis désolée, like, you know, and say whatever it is, like I'm Canadian, and then yeah, it just like it all went downhill after
Yeah.
I
that.
mean,
And then I just walked away.
Like, not to offend people in Quebec, but like Quebecois French is just butchered French, and it sounds so much worse than real French. I wish we learned proper French.
Yeah,
That's just
in
my
France
opinion.
they don't like it whatsoever.
No,
And like
they don't like it anywhere in the world.
That's the French I'm learning. It's continental. Because I know if I
Um,
speak Quebecois or Ontario French and go over to France, they're not going to give me the time of day.
yeah,
Sure.
Well, they don't give
It's
me the
this-
time of day. They hear my accent. It's like, oh, British.
that's not bad though. I know a couple years ago I was learning Italian on Duolingo because both my parents are fluent. And so I never learned how to speak it growing up. So I wanted to learn it, but then on Duolingo, they teach you Roman Italian, which is considered like the real Italian. But my parents both speak different dialects of Italian, so it's the same kind of thing. They speak like Quebecois Italian. So I'd be like reciting the things that I'd learn on Duolingo, and they would be like, that doesn't make any sense because in their dialect, it doesn't mean the same thing, or they have different words or different slang for everything. And so it just like, it gets all jumbled. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Right. But speaking of hobbies, did anyone else take on any new hobbies, interests, whatever during this time? Because I feel like I've been seeing people take up so many new things now.
So what I did recently is I ordered a calligraphy book from Amazon. Honestly, it was $10. It came with the pens, like it was perfect. And I've been learning how to write pretty. So that's the new hobby. Yeah.
That's
That'd
awesome.
be so nice for like birthday cards and things like that. If you do like handmade birthday cards.
I thought it would be just like a fun thing to do. You know, I always wanted to like work on my writing, and I feel like writing is a lost art now that everything is online and stuff like that. So I figured, why not? Might as well.
Are you enjoying it?
I do enjoy it. It's very therapeutic. I love watching the pen just like glide over the paper and just like see all the fun colors that it came with. They're all little metallic colors, so it's really nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Greg and Nick,
I
what about you
love
guys?
I've started knitting.
Ah,
I
nice.
feel like that's the one that's a lot of people have started, but I wanted to show off, so I have them right here. But I'm making
yes.
socks. There's my first sock.
Oh, they look
And then-
professional.
It's a legit sock.
Yeah.
Oh, that
that's
one's
my
halfway done.
So yeah,
Nice.
that's been
The
my
one that
hobby
you
lately.
fully made, can you like put it on your foot and it fits?
Yeah, we need a demonstration.
right now. No. Oh.
Okay, we'll
Maybe I'll-
believe you then. We'll believe you.
Yeah, we'll take your word for
It's
it.
actually like a proper size sock
Nice.
for girl.
Looks pretty proper size. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
That's
proper.
good.
It looks like a legit sock. I mean, like, if
Yeah.
anyone were to look at it, they would identify it as a sock. So
Yes.
That's what you
So
want.
I would say 10 out of 10.
that's the ultimate goal, right?
Yeah.
My next project is mittens.
Hmm.
I'm excited.
It'd be so fun.
Hmm.
How about you, Greg?
I don't think I've done too much. Like I don't like running, but then I started running just to stay in shape. So I've been doing that. But like
Actually,
early
while
in
we're
the
on the
morning.
topic of running, I am training for a half marathon as well right now. So that's been
Oh, cool.
exciting.
Oh,
I've
cool.
reached
Cool.
14 and a half kilometers. So that's my like farthest run so far. So I still have quite a way to go, but
That's so exciting,
yeah.
though. Did you start that like
Unfathomable.
before COVID and everything, or is this something that you took up during?
I also always wanted to run half a marathon, and I've always kind of reached like 10K, and I was like, it's not like I still have like I'm not even halfway. Like this is gonna be way too hard, and I'd quit. But like during COVID, like I've always been a runner. I've always ran like I don't know on average like 8 kilometers, 5 miles, depending. I've been in the States, so like all my conversions right now are like messed up. But yeah, and then when I got back, I was like, you know what? There's no better time. And then I started actually like forcing myself to run longer distances. Yeah. Sorry,
Greg, you're
back
just
to you.
and
Okay.
Greg, you're also forcing yourself to run longer distances.
Yeah, it was from 0 to something. Yeah, no. I'm not a big fan of running. It's just so boring, but I've started doing it now, and it's like I'll be like running around parks and whatnot. But I don't want to like go out in the middle of the day, so I'll wake up like really early and like go for a jog at like 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
I
I've
feel
been
like that's
running
like the
on
safest time.
Yeah. I've been running on my parents' treadmill just so that I don't have to venture outside, just because there are a lot of runners in our neighborhood. So it's a little bit more difficult to avoid everyone. And the one day I got so distracted, I was listening to Drake's Take Care album. If you guys have ever heard that, it's one of like his first albums when he was still like very emotional all the time. And I was listening to it and I got like so in my feelings. I forgot that I was running. I was like, oh my God, like just feeling it as I was going. And then the next thing I knew, my run was over. It was phenomenal.
It becomes
Amazing.
addicting. Like it's like once you start like running, like I don't know how long it takes. For me, it took about like a couple 2-3 weeks to like get back into it. But like afterwards, like if I don't go to run, I'm like really like stressed out. I'm like, oh my God, my body's like I need to like go and move. Like I want that runner's rush, like the adrenaline.
Oh, I feel like a lazy piece of garbage if I haven't done it in a while.
It feels weird.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It does
Like,
take a while to get into that groove.
Yeah, I used to like do a lot of sports like football and basketball, right?
Mhm.
But like I can't do that now, and so that's why I've kind of taken up running because it's like I gotta get some exercise. But
It's
I still
honestly
don't-
the
I still
easiest.
enjoy it.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. It requires the least amount of equipment, and it's I guess a personal thing. You don't have to do it with a group of people, so it makes the most sense to do now. Because what I find, like me living in an apartment now, it's really hard to do like the regular gym workouts that I've been, sort of accustomed to. I like to say I used to go to the gym, but not as much as I should. But it's really hard to like do that same thing in an apartment where like you're on top of people, and it's really hard to keep quiet and respect your neighbors as well. So running seems like the best option for sure.
I actually never even considered that. That's something
so
like, 'cause, yeah, a lot
hard.
of people are doing like workout videos at home, but you never think about like how it affects your neighbors.
Yeah, if you're jumping in your apartment, of course everyone else around you is going to hear you, right? Like you can't do burpees, you can't do any of the normal, I guess, like resistance training unless you're maybe lifting weights, but even then. So it's definitely something to consider, and it makes me upset when I see those Instagram home workouts. I'm like, I can't do these. I'm in an apartment. This is ridiculous. So,
Also, I'm finding, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm finding on my Instagram, I'm being like bombarded by workout stuff, or like how to
yes.
stay healthy, how to do this, how to do
Mhm.
that. And sometimes it's like, I just want to lay on my couch and stare at the ceiling. Like,
Yes.
leave me alone.
I don't want to be healthy all the time. I sometimes want to eat my quarantine snacky snacks and just continue.
I think it's just like people feel, because you're at home and it feels like you have so much time on your hands, people feel like they need to fill that time in some regard, or you feel unproductive if you're not feeling that time. And I don't know, for me, it's just like,
You can just sit on your bed, just lie there.
yeah,
Why
like
not?
sometimes sitting in existential dread is a workout. Leave me alone.
The mental workout.
Yeah. Exactly.
That leads really well into something that I did want to talk about today. And so like you said, Monica, we're at home all the time. Everyone knows we're at home. All of your friends probably know that you're not doing anything except for being at home. So what happens when someone wants to call you or you want to do a video chat and you want to end the conversation? Everyone knows that you don't have anything else better to do after. So how do you reconcile that with, like phone calls or video calls with friends that, like the time is done, you want to end it, but you can't say, I'm going out or I have something else to do because you're at home. You're just going to close the phone and lie on your couch.
Just say you've got another meeting. Just be like, oh, I've got another meeting. Yeah, sorry, like I want to keep talking to you, but like I've got another meeting in 10 minutes.
So Greg's option is to lie.
To lie.
Well, now I know what Greg's really doing. If he says,
by the way, guys,
yeah, Greg says he has another meeting.
Here.
We all know now.
Yeah.
We all know.
Well,
I just say that I'm tired, and straight up, it is like I'm not lying. I am tired, so I straight up say like, "Hey, sorry, I'm actually really tired right now. Like, I'm gonna get going."
Nice.
And like no one cares, but it's just like I'm finding too, like because people really feel the need to stay social and you're having all of your meetings online and things like that, I'm finding that this digital social collectiveness is also becoming exhausting. Like there's this perpetual need to be in touch with everyone and be in contact with everyone, and sometimes it's just like it's really tiring.
It is tiring for sure. Does anyone else?
You guys find a lot of their meetings like will go on much longer than you would expect it to, and you're like talking about nothing.
Yeah, teaching ones did.
Yeah.
And I feel like that comes back to the fact that everyone knows that you're at home. So I feel like it's almost an abuse of your time to go over a meeting longer than it's expected, right? Because it feels like, okay, you're at home. We know you have nothing else to do. So we're just going to continue talking about this, even though you may be tired, even though you may want to do something else. So how do we feel about that?
You just gotta lie about it. Lie.
Well,
Greg has the answers.
If it's a group one, I just mute myself, turn off my video, and I can do other things.
Yeah.
Because I can hear them, but they can't hear me or see me.
So I also wanted to bring up something else as well. I read an article recently discussing Zoom in particular, and all of you guys mentioned, feeling tired with all of these Zoom calls. And did you know there's actually a term for that called Zoom Gloom? Did you know about this? Because I was pretty shocked when I read about it and how accurate it fit every Zoom call that I've had. So I'm just going to go over the points and we'll discuss in a second. So in general, what this means is when you're on a Zoom call, and you hit that point where you're just so mentally exhausted and you realize that you haven't contributed anything to the conversation, but at the same time, you don't know why you're so tired. And so apparently this is a thing that's been happening with a lot of people. And the reason for that is because Zoom doesn't do a very good job of encompassing total human connection. So we can see each other, we can, hear our words, but at the end of the day, we don't focus on the nonverbal aspects of our communication. So micro expressions in other people's faces or body language, or whether someone wants to turn to you or, turn away from you. And it's really hard to gauge the situation when you're talking about something over Zoom. And what that ends up doing is, like, now there's one speaker and everyone is just listening, and it doesn't really call for a collaborative environment. And so your brain gets tired trying to process all of these cues and focusing just on words. Yeah. Do you feel like that's something that is relatable?
I just got tired listening to it. I'm sorry.
That's totally fair, and I understand.
No, I'm just joking. I didn't.
I'm already bored of this. Actually, I have another meeting, so I'm gonna.
I was feeling very self-conscious as I was talking, just to let you know. I was like, man, they're gonna get so bored.
Well, you just set yourself up for it, like as well, because the whole topic. But yeah. No, I definitely experienced it before.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on like how big the meeting is as well. Like I feel like if it's a small meeting, it's like, I don't know, 5 people like we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always conscious about, do I look like I'm engaged? So I'm like really focusing on my face to like look like I'm not bored. So I'm like, look like you're really listening to them. Like I'm always thinking about that in my head. But like I don't know if anyone actually cares and is
I was
looking
gonna
at my
say,
face.
do you think other people are looking at your screen when you're not talking?
I
Probably
don't know.
not. Yeah.
I think
Probably
that's
not.
the one thing I hate about Zoom is that you're forced to look at yourself.
Yes.
And it's just like, I don't want to, like, I'm not here for
And
this
it's so
right now.
unnatural for a human conversation to see yourself while you're talking to other people, right? There's just so many things that your brain is processing in that moment. And apparently it's called continuous partial attention. So your brain's really good at picking up various cues during a period of time. But if it's forced to focus on one thing, like words, that's when it gets tiring and you just want to end the call immediately. And that's hence Zoom gloom.
Guys, I just want to say we're all beautiful, so we can look
Oh.
at ourselves. Nothing to worry
Y'all
about
look
there.
so
Yeah.
great. Everyone's like
Yeah.
trying to position their laptop like in front of
Yeah.
a window with natural light. So like
I
their
haven't even
skin looks
showered,
better.
so thank you for that.
I know, I'm in my parents' basement, which is full of fluorescent lighting right now, and it's just like it does not do you any good whatsoever. It's like being in a change room the entire
Oh my
time.
gosh.
Yeah, my
Gotta ask-
parents' house has a lot of windows, so it's like no matter where I go, it's either super bright behind me or it's like it's light on half my face and I look like I'm really sweaty. I don't know, there's just
You're
no.
right,
There's
You're
a good way around
glowing.
it.
It's not
You're
sweaty.
glowing.
It's glowing. Okay, so speaking about Zoom, actually, I have another question for everyone. Since we've all partaken in like a ton of Zoom meetings, what's the most annoying thing that you've noticed about Zoom, or what's the one thing that annoys you most about Zoom meetings?
About Zoom itself, or just the
Meetings.
Just like the
in
meetings.
general?
Like I could go first. My like least favorite thing is when I hear people, if it's like a meeting and you hear people that haven't muted their mics and they're chewing super loudly and aggressively, or they're like scraping their forks like on their dishes or whatever, and like you just hear them like chomping.
The mute is there
Like,
for a reason.
just mute your
right?
mic. Just
Yeah.
mute your mic.
I think for me, it's just the meetings where whoever's running the meeting I think we said it before, just keeps going on and on and on. And I can't leave because I know they'll see that a participant left.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're going to say, like, oh, you left the meeting. It's like, I can't honestly say, well, you just kept going on about stuff that isn't relevant, so I didn't want to waste my time. It's like, yes, I may be at home, I may be indoors and not on campus, but that doesn't mean my time hasn't got value anymore. But
For me,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, for me, it's like it's not really something that other people do. It's more just like the situation because my parents live in the boonies, so there's very, very shitty internet here. And like the only way right now I'm on it is I'm hotspotting my laptop. So I've been saving my internet all like month for this. And I'm like, I only have so many gigs of data on my phone, but like my parents' internet's just so bad. Like there's no towers around here. We live on the water and it's just like it cuts out every 2 seconds. So it's like, whether it's me or somebody else, like if their internet's really bad and it just keeps cutting out and you can't even like understand what they're saying, and it's just frustrating.
So you can use that as an excuse to get out of meetings as well.
Exactly. Sorry guys, I'm running out of data. I gotta go.
Yeah.
A blessing in disguise.
Yeah. How about you, Vicky and Greg?
For me, mine is similar to Gavin's in the sense that, like we mentioned before, this like Zoom platform makes it very easy for one person to just soliloquy and just say everything that they've been thinking. And it's really hard as a person listening or wanting to join in on the discussion to sort of say your piece without interrupting or seeming rude. So I find it's that transition of hearing someone monologuing about whatever they're talking about to then me wanting to contribute something, but there's no right time. So it's just the timing of the conversation is really unnatural for me, I think.
Yeah, you gotta love a Zoom monologue.
Yep.
For me, I was on a meeting yesterday. I think it was yesterday, where there was about, I'm gonna guess maybe like 100 people.
Wow.
And
oh,
yeah,
good God.
it was a lot, and it was a graduate education council meeting where we plan out various things it's with Alan Shepard and a bunch of other higher ups at Western.
Okay. You want to drop a couple more names?
Yeah.
While we're
Yeah.
You know, why not?
While
Why
we're
not?
humble bragging.
There's a bunch, him and a bunch of like department heads, and then there's just like randomly me on it because we have to have somebody from SOGS to do it, and or student representative. And it's like I couldn't even understand what people were saying for like 90% of the meeting, just because all I would hear is bleh, 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 bleh.
Oh my gosh.
That was like super annoying. I lost it, and I'm just like, I want to leave, but I can't. Like, I know I just can't. So I just put everything on mute. I stopped my video, and I just stopped paying attention.
Yeah, see, But did
Took
they
my
use an
headphones
actual
out.
a standard Zoom call, or did they use a webinar?
They use a
It-
Zoom call.
Oh, because I think for
Wow.
that, a webinar would be better because then the host can actually control who speaks.
No,
So then you
that's
don't get
yeah.
everyone yelling at once. They
I
put
was
in the chat saying, I
yeah.
need to say something. The host will go, like, all right, given permission to speak. And when
Yeah.
they're done, you just deny them again. So you keep it, I mean, the host has to do a lot more, but then you don't have everyone talking over each other.
Yeah,
Especially for 100 people.
I
Doesn't
was kind
seem
of surprised
efficient at
that
all.
they did that. Yeah, no, it actually went pretty well because it was mostly like 2 or 3 people talking, and that was about it. But I was kind of surprised they didn't do the webinar because we've done that before with like PSAC, but they didn't do it here. I think they were just trusting everybody. But the other thing that really bothers me is when you have like a bunch of people in a call and they're all using their video and taking up the bandwidth, because that will like slow everything down. You might not be able to hear people because there's just such a large bandwidth. So it's like that bothers me. So like if you're not talking and you're not like doing anything important, why not just turn your video off? Yeah.
This
All
is
right, I'm gonna stop
PSA
talking
from
now.
a PSA from Greg to turn off your. There we go.
He doesn't
Love
want
it.
to see our faces.
Yeah.
He's over it. He's gonna sign off.
Well, this will probably take. Well, this will take the bandwidth out even more. You can just play around with the background.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
have-
my
have
laptop is
whatever you
so
want.
old. It doesn't have a processor that's like updated enough to change my background because my laptop is just like I bought my laptop before starting my 4th year of undergrad. So I can't change my Zoom background and it makes me really upset.
I'm worried it's going to take more data. I'm just
Better safe than sorry.
saving
Yeah.
it.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. I've never considered it taking more data.
Mhm.
Probably.
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to ask everyone is, you know, there's been some trends or some new popular things that everybody's getting into as a result of
TikTok?
TikTok,
Oh,
you know, like bread baking, Gavin, and anything else. So are there any
Was that the
trends that
coffee
people
that you made recently?
Yeah, okay. So I was gonna say I made Dalgona coffee. I think that's how you pronounce it. I know Vicky made it as well. And
I
then Greg
have.
messaged me after I made it because he was gonna make it. Greg, did you end up making it?
Yeah, it didn't go well.
No? What
Why
went wrong
not?
with yours?
So a couple things is that like right now, since COVID-19 started, I've been making all my own meals and I've been eating super healthy. And
Mhm.
so like certain things that they were like, put in like this much sugar. And so I Googled out like, do I actually have to put in that much sugar? And they're like, well, yeah, you know, you really do. You're supposed to put in a fair amount. But I was like, I'm gonna like cut it in half and just see what happens. And then I don't actually have regular milk. I have like there's no fat milk that is like highly processed to remove a lot of the carbs, so it's high protein. You're looking really weird right now, Monica.
It just like it doesn't sound like it tasted very good is what I'm like. I cut the sugar out of mine
Yeah,
because
me
the sugar
too.
it calls for is like insane and like
Yeah.
sickly sweet.
Unreasonable amount.
It just sounds like the combination of all of these things might not be so tasty.
So I like half the sugar, and then I had different type of milk. But like I'm used to it. I've been drinking this type of milk for like years, so it's like it's
Mhm.
not even a problem with me. And so I start mixing it, and I was probably mixing it for about like a good
Wait, you
maybe,
mixed
like,
it with
20
the
minutes.
milk?
Sorry, not the milk. Sorry.
Okay. I was
No.
like, well, that's your
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
Greg.
Yeah, it's water.
Like boiled water, it was
Yeah.
instant coffee, and then it was like the sugar, right? So I started mixing that,
Okay.
and I was mixing it for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and it just didn't solidify to like your level of like solidification.
Do you have a proper?
Did you use
not
a hand
whisk-
mixer?
Yeah, hand mixer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I
And it
just
was
gave up.
instant coffee, right? Like it wasn't
Yeah,
coffee
It was like
grounds.
Nescafe instant coffee.
Yeah.
And so like I just eventually was just like screw it, like I'm done. And it was starting to get like a little bit thicker, but it wasn't like much. I thought if I just kept going, it would get even
I feel like
thicker.
the sugar is supposed to give it that like peak or whatever. So maybe you cut the sugar too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I don't know, like maybe Monica, you should give me your recipe afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out because that's weird. Like
Yeah.
mine, I tried stupidly. Like my parents have ground coffee, and so I tried making it with ground coffee, but I made it with like the actual brewed, not like the grounds, just with the brewed coffee. Because I was like, okay, I'll just use the brewed coffee and some sugar because the sugar is what's supposed to be giving it that like
Mhm.
texture. Anyways, huge fail. Like it was it was so gross. Like would not recommend. So when I figured out how to actually do it and I realized that you actually needed instant coffee, it did. Like I was very lucky. It turned out very beautiful on the first try. And obviously everyone saw it because I posted it all over social media
It looked
because I
really
wanted
good.
everyone.
Yeah.
It was
It did look
very
good.
good. You do need to cut the sugar. And I find that it's just like, it's like a reverse butterbeer. If you've ever gone to like Harry Potter World or like had a butterbeer
Yeah.
where the foam sits on top, it's just like,
Mhm.
it's a coffee, delicious reverse butterbeer.
Yeah. So I still decided to try it and drink it, even though it wasn't very solidified, like
Oh,
solid.
no.
So I put it on top of the milk and like it stays separated, right? But it was
Right.
like because it was like foamy essentially. Like it wasn't really like hard
So
though.
you
at
made
all.
a latte. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. And the thing is, there was so much sugar in it. It was so sweet, and I haven't
Yeah.
had like that much sugar in so long. And
The
so
first, yeah.
I literally had 2 sips, and I'm like, I can't drink this. And I
The
finished
first
it.
time I made mine, where it told you to have like 1 spoon of like instant or like 1-to-1 instant coffee to sugar, I was like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever had. It like
Yeah.
assaulted my taste buds because it was so sweet. But after I cut it down, it tastes like an ice cap a little bit, so it's kind of
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
See,
Ironically,
when I
like
cut the sugar down, my sister tried it, and my sister like drinks Tim Horton ice caps and like
Mhm.
loves those things. And so when I made the coffee and I drank it, I was like, oh my God, this is delicious. Like
Yeah.
with cut sugar. And then she tried it and she was like, this is so bitter. It's not sweet at all, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh girl, like I can't ingest that much sugar.
No. I tried it. It was no bueno.
I probably would have enjoyed it like prior to like COVID-19 when I was used to, having more sugar. But like now, I haven't had that much sugar.
The new healthy
Oh,
Greg
and it's
cannot
like,
stand
yeah.
the new Instagram trends.
Healthy
Yeah,
tweet
there's
Greg.
too much sugar. Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, what about you, Gavin? I know you were on the bread making train last time.
Well, the bread making train had to get put on hold because yeast became a hot commodity.
Yes,
in
because everyone else was
supermarkets.
on the train too.
Yeah, so I only just we got like several packets.
Hmm.
So I got a lot now, so I was actually going to make one this afternoon, see how that goes. But I was able to bake other things. I baked muffins. I baked my first pumpkin spice roll
Wow.
a few days ago. I did take a picture of
Fancy.
it because it did come out the way I wanted it to. The dough was still a bit damp, so I think it should have been in the oven for a couple more minutes to dry a little bit, because then it tried to hold its form while lukewarm, and it just started to collapse. I went like, this is going wrong, so I threw it in the fridge. So after that, it worked, but it definitely needed that extra 2 minutes. So I'm going to try and make it again at some point, or try a chocolate version of it, because I know that's easier, I think.
Has everybody
Uh,
started like experimenting with cooking?
Oh,
A
this is the
little.
perfect time to do it.
A little.
My family-
Thing now.
My family actually started ordering from Good Food as like just like so we don't have to go to the grocery store as much, and like there's a lot of like different unique recipes there too, like stuff that my family would never make. And it's like the way that they bring it to you is like perfect amount of spices and like sauces and everything like that. So it's like you don't buy like a massive jar of something you're gonna use once and it's just gonna sit in your fridge. And like plus there's so many coupons out there right now, it ends up being like half price. So we've been doing that a lot actually, and it's been really good. It's fun. It like teaches you how to cook new recipes too.
Interesting. Have you done any other like trends or hobbies or things like that? Like, have you taken a part of any other trends that have been happening during all this?
I mean, some of like the fitness challenges, like there's like the 28 or 26 day like hourglass figure, like abs and booty challenge, or like my sister's like super into TikToks. So she's convinced me to do a few with her. So I've been like trying to learn some dances, which is kind
Oh
of
my gosh.
embarrassing. I don't know why I just said this live, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of anything else right now.
Well, we won't post
yeah.
your sister's TikTok, so
Yeah.
nobody will have to go find you.
Yeah, please.
We'll still go find them for fun. Or just
Yeah.
won't.
Greg can go find them.
Yes.
The other meeting that he has to get to, he'll
Yeah.
look up
Yeah.
your TikToks
Exactly.
there. Also, okay, you know how people have been posting like push-up challenges and like crap like that on Instagram? I just want to say publicly, if you tag me in a push-up challenge, you are not my friend. So don't do it.
What was it supposed to be? It's like, when I tag you, you have to film yourself doing 10 push-ups.
And then you tag like another 5 people after. It's like some stupid chainmail thing on Instagram.
It's just when they said, oh, you have to do 10. It's like, I mean, I know I can't speak for, I know everyone won't feel the same, but I went like, is that it? 10 seems like a
Okay,
breeze.
Gavin.
Just, like, it's
Well,
gonna take me
usually
longer
these
to
challenges
figure out
go
how
like
to
this.
tape
Oh,
it.
you have to go do 20 burpees, then sprint down a field, and then make
So
someone
we all
else
have to
do it.
be elite athletes.
Yeah.
Is that the challenge that you want, Kevin?
No, I just wasn't. I thought with like the trends nowadays, you would have thought someone would go, like, you know what, let's spice it up a bit.
So it's not crazy enough for you. Fair enough.
No.
I'm a big fan of the donate 5, run 5, like give it to the next 5 people. It's like 5K, donate $5 somewhere, and then it's like you tag
Huh.
5 people.
I haven't
It's
seen
like,
that
well,
one.
it's kinda fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's talk about that. Which ones have you seen come across your Instagram? Because it sounds like we're all seeing different ones. I've seen selfie ones where it's just like post a selfie of yourself, like without any
Yeah.
makeup on, without your hair done, like things like that. Tag or like a dog one, like post a picture of your dog, take other people to post
I haven't
pictures
seen that
of
one.
their dogs.
I saw the
Um,
dog one.
I saw the
seen
push-up one like 5
Yeah.
million times.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
thing. I've also seen one where it's show us a picture of your baby self and tag like another 5 people, so they show a picture of their baby self, or like when they were
Aw.
younger, not their baby
There
self.
was one, it was like first picture of you and like your partner together, like you.
I
your
saw that
girlfriend
one
or
too.
boyfriend, yeah.
Yeah.
There's like
Which
a
made me
Bill
feel really
Clinton one.
lonely.
My brother tagged me on one where it's like Bill Clinton, and then like you get like a bunch of different photos and you put it as if like they're like vinyl.
Okay, what is the point of that
Yeah.
meme? I don't understand it. I
Don't know
keep
either.
I've
seeing
seen
it.
that
Like
as well.
what are the
I don't know it
vinyls
either.
supposed to be? Like albums that you listen to? Or is it
So it's
literally
like your
just like
favorite albums. You put like you change the vinyls into like your favorite albums, and then like the next person does the same thing. Which I kind of like that one because it made me like remember a bunch of new like older music that like I just haven't been listening to as much, and like every time I see something I like look it up and I'm like, oh my god, I love that song, and I just like add it to my playlist. It's been nice
Huh.
to remember new music, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a fun
Yeah,
one.
I did not understand it. I kept seeing it and I was like, I don't know why people are posting
I
pictures of Bill
think
Clinton. Like, why is he relevant?
There
Yeah,
wasn't a lot
I
of
don't know.
context to the picture, and that's why I was confused. But
Yeah.
now I get it, I guess.
But still, like, why Bill Clinton though?
Yeah, why
Like,
Bill?
that's the
Why
question.
not Bill Clinton? That's another question.
True.
Right?
It's
Any
also,
other
like,
Instagram trends?
what was it, like a 30 or 31 day like song challenge? Has anyone seen that one?
Oh
That's
my god,
everywhere.
like
Yeah,
a
I know a
million
couple friends of mine were
times.
doing that.
They post like the template every day and then they circle what day it is and then they play the
Yes, yeah.
song.
Yeah.
I've seen like with some of my friends from the States, they've been posting like for starting I guess now because it's May, but it's like 100-mile month. So it's like you have to like run, bike, like rollerblade in total like 100 miles, which is like 160 kilometers in a month.
There's your challenge, Gavin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like
It's not hard
We
enough.
challenge you, Gavin.
100 miles. I'm more for a
you have
high
to pick
intensity.
one or the other. Running
I could
100 miles is extreme. Like that's a lot.
that's a
like
lot.
5
I can
miles,
average
5 days a week.
a good day for me. If I can do 5 or so, it's like, yeah, that's enough. I'm not like a
Yeah.
long distance person. More like short distance quickly. That's
Mhm.
about it.
Wow.
Nice.
See, I don't like doing long distance running, but like if I'm playing basketball, I could be going for like 3-4 hours.
I heard running is a very mental sport, right? So if you're just like dedicated to the running long distance, it's really hard to like get in the zone and like do it because I find it boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like after
That
a
was the
while, I'm like,
hardest
okay,
thing
I'm
for
done.
me. That was definitely the hardest thing for me is how to learn how to breathe properly while you're running and how to like mentally force yourself to keep going. Like, because it is really easy to just say, like screw
Like,
it,
I'm done
turn
now.
around and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
So I
always
think
really
that's
liked the
definitely the hardest.
idea of running. The idea of running sounds great. But like when it comes to the actual physical follow through, it's
But me running is not great.
yeah, exactly.
essentially.
The idea of me running, amazing.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Physical follow through of me running.
You've ran
Not
many
so.
marathons in your head, so you know that's what matters.
Exactly. So
right.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I had any other topics that I specifically wanted to ask people about. Vicky, was there anything else maybe that we wanted to discuss?
I think I went through everything. I ranted about my inattention to Zoom, and that's all I really want to talk about.
What do you guys think about some provinces like Quebec, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, like opening things up like early this month, if not already.
I think Quebec doing it is a stupid idea.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're
I
worse
agree.
than they're worse than Ontario,
They are.
and
Fair.
they're thinking like, oh yeah, we can lift things up.
I'm
I
very
understand
concerned.
Saskatchewan and New Brunswick doing it, but
Manitoba too.
okay, I can understand them as well. But it's like Ontario, Quebec, BC, and Alberta should be the last provinces to even consider it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Especially
I find
Quebec
it
and
concerning.
Ontario.
I
It
think people
is.
are getting excited by the fact that, you know, they might be able to go back to work, they might be able to open up their business,
Mm-hmm.
X, Y, Z. You know, for some people, it's literally just like, I want to get my hair done. Like, everyone's excited about that. But it concerns me. It concerns
They're rushing
me.
it. It's definitely too rushed, I feel.
Because
The
if it does,
the fact that we should be learning from our southern cut friends down on the other side of
Best
the
neighbors
border.
ever, eh, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's open everything up again. Oh, our cases
And drink
spiked.
bleach and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why have our cases spiked? This can't be happening. I thought you said we were in the clear. So we never said we were in the clear. You said no, and you just decided not to listen to us.
I think once like
It's
the
been
first,
confirmed that the virus came from to Canada from the States and not from China.
Oh yeah,
Makes
we
sense.
got it from them.
Hey, America.
Yeah. What do
Honestly,
you want to
I
say, Greg?
I think like the first like state province that like started saying they're gonna open everything up, a lot of like provinces didn't even really care about whether or not it's actually fine to open up or not, and are starting to discuss it as well. Because I think it's
Mhm.
still very rushed. You know, we're
I
still
agree.
not like in Ontario. We're still not even testing as many people as we should be.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't really know the real numbers.
Mhm.
Even the
I
current
mean-
numbers we have now is still not good.
The curve is flattening. You could definitely see it in the numbers, and the fact that they're saying that 79% of deaths are all people in long-term health and like old folks' homes, like that's the case in Canada at least. I don't think that's the case everywhere, but that is kind of, I don't know, kind of calms you down a little bit more though to think about that it is what we are doing is working. But yeah, I don't
That's
think
fair.
we should change what we're doing.
But then if
Exactly.
we
That's
stop what
fair.
we're doing, then
The only issue with that is people then convinced like, oh, as long as I'm not in a long-term care home and not near one,
Yeah.
I can go out and do things.
Which is like an awful way to think, because like there's still so many people that are dying that are not doing well. You know what I mean? Like, it's still unfortunate. It's still awful that this is happening in long-term care homes. I think sometimes the perspective on this has gotten like a really weird. It's like, oh, well, it's fine because it's just in a long-term care home. And it's kind of like, what the hell?
Is it though?
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
It's also the people that don't, like the people that are saying we should open things up, or maybe people that don't really know someone who's been affected or don't know someone who's working the front lines, and they are not interacting with them to see how many hours a day they are working, how hard they are working, that they are putting their lives at risk. So maybe it's just people that aren't necessarily aware and don't really know someone like that.
You could argue the opposite of that as well, just because, you know, some people really do want to get back because their family's livelihood depends on them working, right? So there's two sides to it. I understand both, but at the same time, like you said, Nick, there's like we are flattening the curve, but it would be a mistake to just stop what we're doing now, because there's going to be a rebound. We're going to have to do this all over again, and it's just, you have to think about like the smart decisions to do. Like, obviously what we're doing is working, so we should probably continue to do what we're doing.
Yeah. I think once things start reopening, like I'm still going to be staying in for like multiple weeks after
even when things are like
reopen.
even when things are back to normal, I'm just gonna go like, yeah, I'm gonna give it another 2 weeks.
I think so too.
I can
Yeah.
work
Just to, like,
from home.
trial
It's
it
not
out,
gonna bother me.
Yeah. I don't know. Does anyone want to leave this maybe on like a less dreary note?
Well, Greg probably has another meeting, so
Well, funny enough, I actually do have another
That's
meeting.
like Gavin this time. Yeah.
Can't trust you
Gavin,
now.
he's learning.
You guys drained
Smart
all my
man.
data.
Yeah, Nicole has no data left, and Gavin and Greg. Okay.
Okay.
Bernadoodle,
happy
his name's Bo.
Cute.
The little baby.
Come here, guy.
Oh
Aw.
my god.
So Nick has
That's
to
a
go
great
back to
note
her
to leave it
dog.
on. So maybe we'll leave it with that then. Nick has a really cute puppy. We're all tired, and we'll probably record an episode on this soon. So for anyone watching, listening, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're washing your hands. And thanks for tuning in. Really, I have nothing else to report or say.